What's your top wow, that actually worked moment? Friend's dad a couple years ago has an old Windows 2000 computer with a dead hard drive. Normally this wouldn't be an issue as it's an old SS machine, just get a new one. But unfortunately this hard drive had the only backup copy of some very important family pictures, since the external HDD they kept important file backups on died a few weeks prior. Went through every troubleshooting step I could think of in order to recover the data and nothing. As far as I could tell, drive was completely shot. So in one last desperate attempt I blew on the connectors and the ports, like I was trying to get my Northeast's cartridge to work, flicked the drive with my finger, and gave it a small dramatic speech about needing to stay alive for the family. Ducking thing booted, stayed on long enough for me to grab the files, and then went dead. I have a similar tech related story. The water cooler on my PC blew out, and leaked coolant all over the motherboard. Computer immediately died. Not the end of the world. I had a spare motherboard and cooler lying around, but I was planning on saving them for another project, so I didn't really want to use them. I disconnected everything from the motherboard, put the board in rice, like you would with a wet phone, and then put it all back together. Computer booted fine after. I half ran a stop sign that got ran a lot. Cop pulled me over. By half ran, I mean, I was doing a California slow roll through, and halfway through I saw the cop and stopped. He walks up, asked me if I knew I ran the stop sign. I said yes. Then, I don't know why, but I asked, may I have your mercy? He takes a step back, looked a little perplexed, runs my license, comes back, and just says today, I'm merciful. Stop running stop signs. Let off with a warning. Got a free watch offer from a decent company I bought from before, but you had to spend over $300. I added 4 of the free watches, which were usually $75, into the cart, which registered as $300. I went to checkout and a green -$300 appears in the bill. Added my shipping address and 2 weeks later they came. I had a situation like that, though not at awesome. Was checking out an item, and there was an add-on item that usually ran over $100. I added it and the price didn't change. So I added it to my actual cart. Price still didn't change. So I checked out, got an immediate email about drop shipping and thanking me for my business, with an invoice that specifically stated $0 for the extra item. A few days later they arrived. Website was promptly fixed. Something similar happened to my fiance on Black Friday 2017. We were moving in a week and he needed a new desk. I saw one on an office website on sale for $150 to $180, usually about $300, so he could look. He decided to spring for it and added it to his cart. Then he decided he might as well pick it up in store, so he kept switching between delivery and pickup from local locations. No one had it, so he switched back to delivery, and the total dropped to $0. We took a screenshot and waited for the price to return. We went through all the steps, got the $0 invoice, the shipping notification, etc. It was delivered about a week later and no one ever called. After hours of trying to repair a broken digital camera, I went to throw it away. I shrugged and dropped it on the linoleum. Heard a horrible crack, the motor turned on making a jackhammer sound before it clicked, and became a smooth hum. The camera worked after that. The entire grade went on a field trip to a bowling/arcade place to celebrate completing middle school. I was at a claw machine, not sure exactly what it's called. I'm talking about the machine where you direct a claw and try to grab a toy with it, and I asked my friend to look at the claw from the side to see if it was lined up with the toy I wanted. Just then, a boy from another class walked up and said to me, "You know that those are a scam, right?" I was flustered and hit the button to lower the claw without even waiting for my friend to tell me if it was lined up properly. The claw came back up with 2 toys and dropped them in the collection box. The boy was silent for a moment before saying, "That was actually pretty good," and walking away. I'll never be so cool again in my entire life. My very small company organized a bowling night once, and one of my coworkers, who was technically my superior, kept trying to give me tips to bowl better. He was just being helpful, but I was several drinks in, so at some point I grabbed the ball, yelled, "You know what? I don't need your effing advice," and slammed the ball down the lane and walked away without looking. Strike. I didn't bowl the rest of the night. I was a network engineer for an ISP at the time, and I had to get to a mountaintop where one of our towers were located to perform some maintenance. Had to ride a snowmobile all the way up there, and when I got there I realized I forgot the keys to the enclosure. Not to be defeated, I tried to pick the lock, and I got it to open, after about 20 minutes of trying. Yay, I didn't have to quit for the day, and got the work done. I was 12, and didn't know how to swim. I wound up in the deep end of a pool with dozens of other people who didn't realize I disappeared underwater. I struggled for a second, then remembered something my childhood friend told me. All you have to do to float is bend over in water. I never had the guts to try when she told me, but I was about to die. So I just let my body relax and bent over in the water by my waist and floated to the surface, alive. I couldn't believe it was as simple as she said. Edit. Yes, after all this time floating, I can swim now. Thanks for the silver. I'm just glad I didn't latch onto someone else in the pool and drown them while trying to climb up to the surface. I hear that happens a lot. I was flying somewhere. After everyone else was boarded, I went up to the gate agent and asked about being upgraded to first class. After a bunch of typing on her computer, she said sure and asked how I would like to pay for it. I said by asking nicely. To my amazement, she gave me a boarding pass for my new first class seat. I had a somewhat similar experience. I was making small talk with the flight attendant while everyone else was taking their seats on a flight from Vegas to DC. I always sit in the back and there was an entire row just empty next to me, so I asked if I could move when the flight took off. She said it was for the flight attendants in case we hit turbulence, so no, I could not sit there. No big deal. We continued to chat, and I told her the fun story of my flight into Vegas with the drunken guy who threatened to assault a baby in the flight crew. A little after tee off, she motioned for me to follow her and told me to take out a card of any type. She then pretended to swipe it and upgraded me to the exit row. An entirely empty exit row for a 5.5-hour flight. Ducking glorious. I was so grateful. Some dude tried to sit in the other exit row without asking, and that flight attendant moved so quickly to ask for his card so he could pay for his upgrade. He sheepishly got up and moved back to his assigned seat. It was a night full of surprises. Edit. Apparently my phone thinks I interacted with a flight attendant instead of flight attendant. I'm a straight dude with a lot of gay friends. One of them jokingly refers to me as king of the gays. I was visiting some friends in another city a few weeks ago, and we try to go into a gay bar, but the doorman tells me there's a cover charge. I, being drunk, blurted out, "But I'm king of the gays," and he laughed and let me in. Hahaha. I was dating a girl who wanted to take her gay friends to Boys Town one night, and I went with them. At all the bars we normally went to, she usually got in free, cause boobs, and I would have to pay a cover. However, in Boys Town that logic goes out the window. She got charged and me, and the boys waltzed right in. I was enjoying giving her hit about it. Then we went to the last bar of the night and the bouncer tells me it's a $5 cover. I'd had a few, and was also drunk on my newfound cachet. I said, "Hey man, all the other bouncers on this street didn't charge me." He looked me up and down super skeptically and asked, "Why?" Ego deflated. I repair slot machines for a living. One was frozen in game state with well over $1,000 on it. All the doors were closed, no jams in the dollar acceptor or the voucher printer. All the lights were on and the software just stopped mid-spin. I was thinking the game finally died and we'd need to reimburse the guest for their lost money, which can take a while if it's a hit ton of money like this. The guest jokingly asked if it just needed its but kick to work again, and I figured that since this game is old and durable, I'll indulge him. I kicked it, and the game came right back up, and the guest proceeded to win another $500 or so from that spin. Game was good for the rest of the day too, no errors or anything. I played it off as gracefully as I could, but I think that was my life's peak and I'll never look that ducking cool to anybody ever again. Edit. You, this comment blew up. I'm gonna reply to as many of you beautiful people as I can. My sister and I went to a show a while after she'd been going through some really rough times. I wrote the band a letter about her and asked one of their merch guys if he could deliver it to them, hoping they could just give her a shout out during the set or something. About 20 minutes later I got a phone call from the band's manager saying to go to the side of the stage between the opener and the headliner, and we got to watch the whole show from the side of the stage, and they gave us a VIP meet and greet pass. The bassist came up and we learned that he was the one who pushed for us to get what we got. He was so nice about everything, and he gave my sister a hug and posed for a photo with her. Edit. Band was asking Alexandria. Edit. Because a lot of people are asking. It was May 2013 before Danny left, right before they released From Death to Destiny. I also tried to give Danny a hug at the meet and greet, and later that night he tweeted that he's not really a hug person lol. Ducking. Subscribe to Reddit Throne. Ducking. Subscribe to Reddit Throne.